All the way from PHX and PDX, it's the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Show. Welcome to the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Show with your hosts, Tommy and Anthony Masano, all the way from PHX to PDX. We're talking pro wrestling, all the way from the top rope, and always putting bros before elbows. So it looks like we are back from...
It's been a while.
It has been. We're back after a Night of Champions. Much to talk about on this show. In fact, some suggested topics and opinions on Charlotte's win, Lucha Underground, the Sting match at Night of Champions, and what we think of WWE using 50-plus-year-old wrestlers. So we want to say a big thank you to Josh Gagnon from therichest.com for providing these questions. We sent out a tweet. He sent back a tweet. And we now have content for our show. But,
he gets co-producer credits for this show, doesn't he? To add to his resume.
That he does. That he absolutely does. So we want to give a thank you to that. I gotta adjust a screen here. Here we go. Good. Back in the game.
And Josh is at Heel Doors on Twitter, so go give Josh a follow. Super good Twitter superstar over there.
Yes, absolutely. But before we jump into the show, of course, we got to catch up on some catch-up-ins.
Yeah, what did I catch up? I saw that on the outline, catch-up-ins. What is that? Is that a Portland, Oregon saying?
You know, I literally just made that up when I was typing the outline. I was like, well, you know, there's an expression like, you'll get your come-up-ins. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, why not catch-up-ins? Like, get your catch-up-ins. Right?
Get caught up on the news, like it sounds like something like the 1800s, like where like an old timey like person would like go talk to the old wise man in town, get your catch uppins. Like a cowboy would like stroll into town and like, what's going on in the town? I've been gone for 3 months. Go get your catch uppins.
Yeah, you know? Man, go grab a sarsaparilla at the bar and put a coin in the jukebox and palaver with the old man.
Go down to Old Tucson Studios.
That mine ride always freaked me out, dude. I always was so terrified because it was creepy, dude. It was creepy mine shaft, dude.
It was creepy because it was old and it was built in the 70s and they didn't update it for like 40 years. It was still like the 70s technology with just like the roll pin going like around. That'd be cool if they do like up for Halloween or something. They put like it's like a creepy stuff in there.
There's always one employee that jumps out and scares the crap out of you right at the end of the ride. Whatever. But so I did some guerrilla marketing here today.
Yes.
So what I wound up doing was, Tommy and I got these flyers made with another wrestling promotion or wrestling fandom company, whichever, the godsofwrestling.com.
Oscar over Gods of Wrestling. Shout out.
So we had made these flyers and I just have a bunch of them, so I was like, you know what, they're in my bag. I'm gonna cross out the coming soon to iTunes and just leave the iTunes. And I just left a stack of them at this place called Sweet Betty's over on Main Street in Gresham. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening to this show having picked up one of those flyers, may I suggest the strawberry French toast and or the Big Bomber.
What is the Big Bomber, may I ask?
So the Big Bomber is it's like eggs, house potatoes, so basically like big chunks of potatoes that are seasoned. You can get salsa, cheese, sour cream, I think like bacon bits, mushrooms.
So it's like an omelet?
Yeah, it's basically like an omelet, but not in omelet form. I think the eggs are like on top of it instead of it being encased in egg.
Okay, all right, Sweet Betty's. When I saw Sweet Betty's in the outline, I thought you were talking about Total Betty Good upstairs running the show.
She is Sweet Betty. But this place is Sweet Betty's, and they have delicious food.
I hope they didn't just see that pro wrestling flyer and just throw it away.
You know, I don't know. The only way to find out is if there's still flyers there when I come back. And if they tell me not to do it again, then all right, I tried.
Are you Anthony Masano of the Bros for Elbows podcast? Yes. You can't eat here anymore. Aw.
Your guerrilla marketing tactics have angered us, has angered our business.
That doesn't sound like Sweet Betty at all. It sounds like Asshole Betty, so I don't think it's going to happen. I hope that's not going to happen.
Oh, no, but that place is good. So if you did wind up picking up the flyer and listening to the show, thank you.
Thank you, Guerrilla Marketing. Thanks for dropping off the flyers, man.
So let's get to the question of the day here. As I was writing the outline, I thought this was actually a very valid question. Mm-hmm. So here's the question of the day. It's kind of a three-parter.
Mm-hmm.
Who is going to beat John Cena for the U.S. title? Who is going to beat Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental title? And who is going to beat Seth Rollins for the WWE title?
Oh man, that's a good question, man, because it could happen anytime, like between now and like WrestleMania, or I don't know if anyone keeps the title that long, but it can happen like anytime. So you gotta like really look into your crystal ball and like think hard for this question of the day. I like it.
Yeah. And of course, I got to give a plug to our awesome, super special sponsor. This episode of the Bros Before Elbows, of course, is sponsored by you. The Bros Before Elbows community snaps. The best way to support the show is to share the show. Take a second to share this episode of the Bros Before Elbows on your favorite social media outlet. Drop an elbow on your friends and share the show on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google+, MySpace, and more.
Whatever happened to Google+, man? Like, they came out of the gates, like, really gunning for Facebook, and then, like, they just kind of left the race halfway through, it felt like.
I think only Google employees use Google+.
Only because they're required to. It's like Facebook's blocked at Google headquarters.
You can only chat through this. Hit the master drum.
That's funny, man.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we got to jump into some news here. What are
we getting that 80s news sounder? Demand that new studio you got there. There you go. It sounds like the laser effects we had from our VHS home videos where we had dinosaurs fight.
That is actually one of the DVDs that Dad gave me.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wait, when you came... Okay, so since you've been gone, since our last episode, you've been to Arizona and back since then for my dad's birthday and for Total Betty's baby shower for little Rocco.
That's
you've
right.
Been to Arizona. Yeah.
That is right. That is very, very right, my friend.
And he gave you my dad gave you DVDs of us from back in the day?
Yeah, he had remember when he bought the VHS to DVD converter?
Ooh, that was a popular thing back then.
Yeah. Well, he went through a lot of or pretty much all the VHS tapes and converted them to DVDs, and he has copies basically for everybody. So he gave me like DVD one of like however many DVDs he has. I think he said there's like 7.
Wow, so he condensed all the VHS tapes down to 7 DVDs? Something
like that, yeah. But there's like clips, like some of them are only like 20 minutes long, some are like 5 minutes long. So it's real sporadic, clips. But one of them is of us filming the dinosaurs fighting. So it's like the dinosaur battle, push the red button, everything blows up. Yeah, it was crazy, dude.
Hey, spoiler alert, man. I know it's a 20-year-old VHS, but you gave away the main plot point. If anyone ever sees this, yeah.
Oh, man.
Gotta edit that out now.
Oh, crazy, man. But yeah, so those are. It's very funny to see us when we were like 7 and like 6 years old. Back at the condo we used to live at in Arizona when we first moved here.
There's some even from our house in New Jersey too, though. Like, it's just crazy.
There are a lot of them actually. There's like, yeah, dude, a lot of freehold footage. Crazy, dude. Memory lane, dude.
Memory lane. Oh man, that's crazy. We should upload some stuff to our YouTube. That'd be funny.
I'd be down.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of uploading stuff to YouTube, Alberto El Patron not confirmed for Lucha Underground Season 2, courtesy of Keith Harris from CageSideSeats.com. So Alberto El Patron, aka Alberto Rio, is not confirmed for Lucha Underground Season 2, which is kind of cool because they didn't even know they were going to have Lucha Underground Season 2 until a couple like days ago. But everyone like on the internet loved Lucha Underground Season 1. It was like 40 episodes, like a little soap opera mixed with like luchadors, and had some WWE people, some former TNA people in there. It was pretty cool.
So apparently, I guess what happened is the producer of the show, or one of the producers, was saying that Alberto El Patron was going to be on the show, but then Alberto El Patron on Twitter was like, "No, man, that's not true. That is not confirmed." So
man, I feel like they're the perfect he was on like their like Lucha Underground. He was on their like little like Ultimate Lucha. Like their like little like WrestleMania season finale, he was on there, wrestling on there. So like he kind of like left with a story to be continued on there. So it would suck if he's not on there.
Yeah, we'll see. The producer thinks he is, but Alberto Patron says no, man. So you sent me a video of the Lucha Underground. Now I'm not familiar. Really, my only familiarity with Lucha Underground is seeing just the titles of whatever's on CageSideSeats.com, and I'm normally scrolling over it because I don't know. I'm still trying to catch up on ROH, still trying to catch up on TNA, so to add
NXT.
another and NXT, so to like pile another wrestling promotion on top of me without actually having cable TV is extremely difficult.
It's a really tall task. You're sitting at the buffet, dude. People are just throwing stuff on your plate, and you're like,
Gosh, man, but it felt really good to live tweet during the Night of Champions, so I hope someday when I do get cable TV that I will be able to participate in some live tweeting during the shows. But getting back to Lucha Underground.
But what are your thoughts, man, of like watching a 90-second YouTube video and then like looking on their website for like 2 minutes? Like, what are your thoughts on this like crazy like promotion that's had like 40 TV shows like in the archives already?
First, I'll tell you quickly what I think it is, and then I'll read you my 90-second little synopsis of having watched 90 seconds, basically a super condensed version of that 90 seconds. But my first impression of Lucha Underground is Legends of the Hidden Temple meets ECW.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a really good description, dude. Yes. Okay, all right. I've seen like 2 episodes, and plus like what I'm watching right now on my DVR. So continue.
So, video starts. Betrayal in a temple. Some grunty dude battling with a white-faced dude. Firebird. Someone's wrapped up, and there's a blonde girl in a luchador mask. Dirt bike man, lizard man, superhero guy showered in sparks and flames, light bulb smash, teacher reveal, swerve, someone's ready, thumbtacks, Shane O'Mac tossed through a window, more broken light bulbs, 30-foot drop, flaming tables, kingpin?
Was that the one? That was the one I texted you, right?
That was the one you texted me, and I was like, I have to write down every image that I'm seeing as I'm watching this and this. Really, I can only assume whoever's ready is ready.
That was basically the trailer. I don't know if it was like a commercial for like the Ultimate Lucha, which is like their season finale / their WrestleMania, or was it like a trailer for the whole season? Like, I don't know what that was. I just saw like on their YouTube and it had a bunch of like hits. So I was like, okay, let me just research this and look at that. And then, yeah, I've seen 2 episodes. It's like a soap opera, like mixed with wrestling, and that they really like emphasize their backstage segments like a lot. And I guess there's like a guy who owns the Lucha Underground like arena or the temple or whatever, and he like is evil and corrupt, and it's just like the whole season tells like a big long story, which is kind of like, it's like more like a TV show combined for pro wrestling show where they do like actual matches. And you said their style is kind of like ECW style, which is kind of cool. Yeah, very
fluorescent light bulbs being smashed over each other's heads.
Yeah, someone just like ran on top of the entrance and jumped onto two guys, and one of the guys was dressed like in a tiger mask, and the other guy was a big black dude with like a eye patch on. That sums up Lucha Underground for us.
That's your gimmick. Hey man, you got to put something on. Oh, what about this eye patch? You look fierce, brother. All right.
And that's like what they do. I mean, it's just like cheesy to like the extreme, but it's like fun because it's like luchadors and like I don't know. I kind of want to get into it, but like you said, I'm like too far behind like on everything else on ROH.
There's just too much, and what sucks is like, you know, coming from someone that does not have cable TV, right? Mm-hmm. And then when you have cable TV, the argument is, man, I could just watch all of this on the internet. Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes, you can, but no, you cannot see the latest episode. Mm-hmm. You must wait 10 years before you can watch the latest episode of anything. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's like impossible to live that way, like in the age of the internet with like Twitter and like Facebook, or like if you go on Cage Side Seats, you're gonna get something ruined. If you log on to Twitter, you're gonna get something ruined. You check your friend's Facebook page and they're talking about wrestling. You're like, so it's like impossible. Like you have to like watch stuff live, and if you get too far behind, it's like I can't go back. I'm too far behind TNA. Like I can't go back because like there's so much other stuff that's already happened. Like especially pro wrestling because they have something like every week. You kind of have to like watch it like.
You're so last week, bro.
Yeah, but it's impossible. Yeah, it's like unless you get like break all your limbs and you're like in a full body cast, then like you can like sit down in front of a computer screen and watch everything. Unless that happens, like you can't. It's impossible to catch up if you get far behind.
But even then, yeah. So you know, to those that think, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side. You know, so it's not easy. It's not easy finding all of this on the internet because you got to read all about it. You got to use the television that's in your brain, your imagination station, to put all these pieces together.
But even if you have like TV, like it gets stuff like builds up on your DVR because like you have wrestling on your DVR, then you have like comedies you watch, and you have stuff you watch with your significant other on there, and you have shows you watch by yourself, and you're like, man, I mean, like the DVR just piles up too. So I mean, DVR is a cool tool, but like stuff's like I have like wrestling stuff from like May and like June still on there, like that I'm like never gonna watch, but it's like still on there. It's just like
someday I'll get rid of it. Someday.
It's just like yeah. So anyway,
one thing
a lot of wrestling for the fan out there in 2015.
Man, there's so much. In fact, so much. I'm going to jump to this story here. Okay. Fan intervention during Night of Champions ends in jail time.
Oh, man. So the fan that does... So right when the Shield or Ambrose and Reigns are about to reveal their mystery partner, a random fan dressed in like Shield gear runs out and like he gets caught on the pay-per-view like for 2 seconds and gets tackled by security guards.
It was pretty funny because the picture, there's a screenshot on CagesideSeats.com, and he's like standing tall and standing proud, looking at Roman Reigns like, I'm ready, dude. Like, let's do this. This is real. Then they tackle the dude out of the ring, and then you just see Roman Reigns give the guy a smirk, and then you see Dean Ambrose look at him like kind of pointing and makes a joke, and then Wyatt starts making fun of the guy. And Wyatt's like to Dean and Reigns, that's your guy? That's the dude you picked? Are you kidding me? So they were kind of like playing along with it, and then break the wall
replay of Royal Rumble 2013 in Phoenix.
Oh my gosh. What a pop, dude. But too bad he lost it for him. But nonetheless, but the guy that jumped in the ring got sentenced to 10 days in jail.
Man, you think because that guy, like, he probably had like pre-planned that, went to the show dressed in his Shield gear, had to buy expensive tickets to just get on the first floor, and then he like does that like halfway, like an hour into the pay-per-view, and gets just 10 days in jail. Like, what an idiot, dude! What an idiot, dude! That's like so so not safe.
So rude. It's really rude. You know, be safe. It's a show, damn it. You know, it's not a freaking rock concert. You can't stage dive off the ropes. You know, even like, dude, seriously, man, like nowadays most bands don't even encourage getting on stage.
Really? Why?
Know, because, man, you're gonna trip on something, you're gonna break something, you're gonna freaking, you know, get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like, come on, enjoy the show. You don't have to get all crazy and interfere. You know, don't interfere with it. Nobody runs on stage during a Broadway performance because it captivates them that much that they have to ruin the, you know, not ruin the show, but like inject themselves in it.
Yeah, it's like running on, like you're watching a stand-up comedy show and you're like, you run up on the stage and like try to tell your own joke real quick. It's like, why would you'd like a dumbass? Or if you're like Saturday Night Live and you run in on a skit or something. It's like, it's like, I don't know, like, yeah, it's like not safe either, dude. Like, what if that guy had like a knife or something or some crazy shit like that?
Yeah, what if he did? What if he did? What if he decided? Yeah, what if he decided to like push Roman or something and got knocked out? What if he? You know, again, it's just safety. It's safe. Just enjoy the show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Bros for almost PSA.
Enjoy the show, okay. All right, let's jump into some rumors here.
Rumors.
Reports were all over the place on Sting, and apparently Vince McMahon wanted him on Raw to either tease a future program or update the crowd on his injury. But too much is unknown about the nature and severity of his injuries. The decision was made not to address it.
Yeah, so I guess Sting got hurt like from a turnbuckle like powerbomb or something from Rollins.
I think his kidneys exploded or something.
I mean, he is like 50-something, dude, so... But I didn't think that was weird, because, I mean, I didn't watch all of Raw, but like bits and pieces I caught, like, they didn't, like, talk about Sting. They briefly talked about it, but, like, they didn't, like... It's kind of weird, him being in the main event and then not having him, like, on the show afterwards. It's like,
So it could be one of two things.
Mm-hmm.
One, it could be such a subtle work that it's like, hey, in order for Rollins to get over, you know, make it look like you're injured. You know, like from something like a buckle bomb, you know, like, all right, cool, you're really injured. That's how you, maybe, but then again, he legitimately could be like not like a fluke move, but, you know, took it the wrong way. Mm-hmm. Like took a bad bump. And it did hurt him, did hurt his liver or kidneys or whatever, right in the back, and maybe did F him up, you know, because I don't know, man. With somebody like Sting, it's kind of hard. I mean, yes, his age, yes, but he looks in much better physical condition now than he ever did, I think, in TNA.
Yeah, but, like, what kind of matches were you doing in TNA? I mean, he had that Bubba Ray match, and he had, like, some, like, tag matches, but, like...
He's taken some bumps, man, but he hasn't taken buckle bombs. I can tell you that much. He's not taking buckle bombs. He's taking pile drivers, but you know, nonetheless. But I hope he's okay. And this was another question from Josh over at therichest.com at Heel Doors. So he wanted us to talk about that. So the match, in my opinion, with Sting, I thought it was great. Sting came out hot, beating the crap out of Rollins. As soon as he got pushed onto the table, onto the Spanish announce table, momentum completely shifted. Once the second buckle bomb happened, then it was just Mayday, Mayday. my Zeppelin is on fire. Come careening down to earth. Oh my gosh. And then it was, you know, and then I don't know, yeah, man. Look, playing the match back over my head, it kind of did seem like, oh my God, Rollins won by roll up.
Yeah, it was kind of like a really anticlimactic ending to like a pretty good match. Do you think that like they called that like on the spot, like, hey, Sting's hurt, just to end the match real quick? I
think so. Because what was he gonna do? Bend his arms behind his back and take a pedigree?
Oh, yeah.
He'd puke his insides out, dude. Like he would die.
Good thing the curb stomp, so it wasn't like a finisher.
Oh man. So yeah, I think the roll up might have been the safest bet. But again, I don't know, man. Could be a work. I don't know. But either way, I think it is a little weird. As far as so what is your thought on that with Sting?
It's about wrestlers over 50 wrestling still. I mean, I think it's okay if kind of how I feel like almost like MMA fighters, like old time MMA fighters wrestling like the new like younger generations. Like if the old timers want to wrestle with the old timers, I think that's okay. Or the old fighters want to wrestle with the old fighters, I think that's okay. But when they're trying to go against like these young bucks, like the young athletic dudes in their prime, or like stronger, faster, and like there's like a big like athletic gap, I don't think they should be doing that anymore. Like I think if Sting wants to wrestle like Triple H, if he wants to wrestle Undertaker, like guys more his speed. But if he's gonna go out there and wrestle like Cena, Rollins, Reigns, Bray Wyatt, or something like that, I mean, I don't think that's a good idea. Just because I don't think his body can physically keep up with them anymore, kind of thing. So if he wants to have like a program with Y2J or someone more his speed, I think that's cool. But I just don't think he can go toe-to-toe with like young guys anymore. And I think that's kind of the rule. If you're over 50, you should wrestle someone like over 40 or something like that. There should be like a cutoff or something. Just like something like just like almost not common sense, but just like something to protect the older wrestler in the match right there. So yeah, so I mean, I guess hindsight's 2020. I guess if you're gonna wrestle someone, wrestle Rollins, probably the best wrestler on the roster right now. But yeah, I don't think that's a good idea going forward, and I wouldn't mind not seeing Sting wrestle someone like young again. If he's going to come back, do it against Undertaker, or do it against someone more his speed. Maybe a rematch with Triple H.
Big Show.
Big Slow. Yeah, I mean, that's another dude who can like go probably. I mean, his style, it's not going to hurt. He's not going to run like crazy, like jumping off the top rope spots on Sting to hurt him. So.
Oh my gosh. Gotta hand it to him though, man.
No, props to Sting, man. Like I mean, it's like we say Undertaker every year. Every time he goes up against like Lesnar, or when he had that match against Punk. I mean, like props, man, to be able to keep up, go toe to toe with a guy younger than you. I mean, that's props. But to do it like without getting injured, I don't know. It's like you're walking a thin line there, dude, because your body you tell your body to go one way and it goes the other after a certain age.
Good answer, man. I like that. I can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah, it's good pairings. Good pairings of talents. Good dance partners.
Yeah, I mean, Rollins should be wrestling like Ambrose and Reigns, man. Like someone he can go like toe to toe with, Ziggler or someone like that. Yeah.
So, moving on here before we hit our break. In what could be seen as a good sign for the WWE women's scene, tryouts at the PC Performance Center last weekend featured numerous females who were said to make a good impression, including Daria. I said that with Daria Baranato. From Tough Enough and shines Allison Kay. But most importantly, what I want to talk about is the women's division overall, and of course, Charlotte's win as the new Divas champion.
I like how you read because the outline is bold and it's like underlined. You read it like it's bold and underlined. Read it out loud. Yeah, man. So what do you think about so NXT women? Charlotte comes up, and now she's got the women's title from Nikki Bella. So what are your thoughts on that, man? Like, because Nikki just broke, like, they made a big deal about her breaking AJ Lee's Divas record, then, like, she makes one title defense after that, and she loses it. So, like, what do you think about the Divas revolution right now at this point in time?
There had to be some way to put it on Charlotte. You know, they had to keep it on Nikki Bella just for the sake of, do we really want AJ Lee to be the longest person? She kind of just like left. You know, do we really want to like, I guess, kind of honor her in that sense, or do we want to at least give the duration of time to Nikki Bella? That way, that streak is broken, but adds, I guess, some legitimacy to her reign, even though she defended the title like 6 times. Whatever, but. Hey, and now you've got to beat someone that has the longest title reign of the Divas division. So it had to exchange hands somehow. So it's like, you know, break a record at the same time, you know, squash the title, like the title not being defended and not really I don't know, this could be bold saying, like, not really being represented as like a really like ass-kicking title. But now I feel like it is. So now with Charlotte as the figurehead of the women's division, you know, she is an ass kicker. You know, hands down. So I'm super excited to see that that actual title being defended in a much, I don't know, just a much like cooler, more honorable light.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, the only question I have is like, why Charlotte? Why not Sasha Banks? Why not Becky Lynch? I guess those are only two options from the NXT. But I'm interested in that. I mean, I like that I like they're like doing like new feuds. Like they're gonna do like a Charlotte Paige feud. Like Natty's back up too. So Natty Neidhart, Natalia's back up. She's wrestling again. So she can have a feud with some people, Sasha Banks, Naomi. So, yeah, I like that they're breaking off the teams. Like they're gonna have individual feuds. So I hope there's like 2 or 3 like individual feuds like that we could follow in the Divas division rather than just like the team like merry-go-round. So like Charlotte could feud with Nikki because they just defeated her, or Becky could feud with Paige, and Natalia could feud with like Sasha Banks or Naomi, and then like boom, you got 3 storylines right there. Maybe they can like build on that. So. No, I think it was a good direction to kind of change the title hands, have a new figurehead, like you said, for the Divas division for a little bit and see where that goes.
Yeah, change the title hands and like you said, break it up. I think that was a good move. Now, as far as Charlotte, why Charlotte? You know, ever since the moment that I saw her on NXT, I just knew, like, she's going to be the diva. Just, I don't know, just the way she wrestled, the way she... Now, of course, one would say, but that's Ric Flair's daughter. All right, they're so cool, I get it. But she works her damn ass off, man, and she puts on a great match. She really, really exemplifies extremely talented women's athleticism, personality, charm, style, moveset. Just her whole persona, just her whole aura about it. Now, that's not saying that Becky doesn't have that. She absolutely does, but she wasn't booked in the same light as Charlotte was. You know, sad to say, and I love Becky Lynch, but she has been kind of casted as like a supporting role.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with Sasha Banks. You know, I would say that Sasha Banks, in my head, the pecking order would go Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Paige, Becky Lynch, and then, you know, Bayley, and then the rest of them or whatnot. And in terms of like that style of wrestling, now, like
the new breed of divas.
The new breed of divas. That's a great way to put it, dude. The new breed of divas, because the old breed of divas, kind of like what Paige was saying in her pipe bomb promo on Raw, was like, yeah, there's like kind of this like supermodel-esque type. And then there's like this new breed. You know, she was just calling people out. Like, Natalia, do you even work here anymore? No one knows you're here. You know, you just kind of show up in and out. And like, you know, Alicia Fox, you're just a third wheel. And like calling out things that are legitimate perspectives of that division. So I think the shakeup is great. I think the title change is great. I think whatever surpassing the amount of days, I think is just whatever. You know, we can do it. Sure, why not? She's an active wrestler. Keep it on her. Cool, whatever. But yeah. So yeah,
one more cherry on top of your point for the next NXT like mini like pay-per-view event on the WWE Network. The main event is Sasha Banks versus Bayley, like in an Iron Woman match.
Whoa. I did not know that.
I think they're going to do like a 30-minute or 45-minute match, and like whoever gets the most pinfalls or submissions in that time period wins the match. Whoa. So that's like adding to the point that like these like new breed of divas, like they're like you said, Paige, Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, Sasha, like these are like athletes like that can like go in the ring like other, not just like pretty faces, you know.
Yeah.
So to be able to pull off like a match like that, like have like a 30-minute match, Iron Woman match, I mean you have to be a good wrestler and a great athlete. So I'm kind of excited to see how they do that and how they play that up. I think it's in October, like middle of October, I'm guessing. I don't know.
God, I would love to see, and maybe this is like kind of crazy, but you know, a freaking ladder match
Ooh,
Diva's
man,
ladder match, dude.
A Diva's ladder, dude. The first 2 Divas do a ladder match, man. I don't know. Maybe that's happened on the indie scene or over in Japan or something. I've never seen that, so man, that'd be cool. Yeah, the first 2 to pull that off, man. They're gonna go down in like legendary, dude. Like, cause it'd be like Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels, like one of the first ladder matches ever on the big stage. So like, and that was like a classic. So like, man, that's a good idea, dude.
Crazy. All right, well, let's end on that note real quick before we let's end on that, hit break, come back. And then we can chat about Raw. We can chat about it. There's a couple more rumors here if we want to touch base on those, but we'll come back, break, see how we feel, and then continue on.
And the story just far.
Thanks for listening to the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Show. You can find us on the web at www.brosbefore4elbows.com, and of course that links to our other social media sites. Just search Bros Before 4 Elbows on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and iTunes. Have thoughts, opinions, or input? Reach out and tag in. Thanks for listening, and now back to the show.
Welcome back to the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Show, brought to you via iTunes and YouTube and Twitter and Facebook
Podbean
and cage side seats.
Oh, there you go.
.com. Welcome back to the show, the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling.
Don't forget about Sweet Betty's French toast.
Sweet Betty's Guerrilla Marketing with the Lucha Underground featuring Conan, Vampiro, Chavo, Guerrero, Matt Striker, and the Keymaster.
You see Hernandez was on there?
What?
See Super Mex Hernandez was on there?
I miss Super Mex.
Super Mex.
No.
Oh man,
Super Mex.
I liked him on TNA for a little bit. He wasn't that bad.
I did too, man. I thought he was gonna be a total jobber. And then I was like, oh man, dude, Chavo's back. Oh man, he's teaming up with Hernandez. Like, all right, cool. And then they became cool.
Yeah, they became cool. Yeah, for a brief time they were. Oh, that's awesome.
TNA's glory days? Question mark?
Yeah, question mark, yeah. It probably was, man. They seem to be talked. I mean, I think their glory days is when like Austin Aries cashed in and had the option C and he won the title.
I think I absolutely 1,000,000% agree with you. I also think that Bound for Glory series, when it was held at Grand Canyon University Arena, was by far the best.
Yeah, no, that was a good one too. Yeah, that was a pretty good. Yeah, that's a lot of good matches. It had the blow off between the James Storm and Bobby Roode feud, which I thought was cool because Beer Money was like an awesome tag team for TNA, and like they finally had the blow off for that. So I mean that was kind of a big deal.
God, what a greatest tag team name
I know.
ever.
It's not awesome. Yeah, man.
Ever. Beer Money. Ever.
I would like to see them like I don't know if they're probably too old and it's not in the cards anymore to see them like reform for like a run on like ROH or NXT.
God,
somehow.
that'd be sick.
That'd be so sick. I don't think they're completely different places right now in their careers, but it's fantasy book it.
Ah, man, Austin Aries. Miss that guy.
He was an asshole. But the asshole TNA deserved.
Yeah, man, man. Gyrating his crotch.
Speaking of crotch gyration, you had Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose possible feud.
I don't know how that segues together, but
I don't know. They both gyrate their crotches.
Though they're definitely setting up a possible angle between Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose. It is likely it won't be addressed until 2016. PW Insider reports Y2J isn't booked for any more televised dates this year, not counting the Madison Square Garden show. And Fozzy is touring in November and December. A WrestleMania program is a possibility.
Interesting. How did Jericho look on Night of Champions? Was he like chunky or was he like fit? Fit as a fiddle? How did he look?
You know, to be perfectly honest, that was like the one match I spaced out on.
No, I didn't see. I just saw the beginning with the fan and then the Jericho running down the thing, and then like I was like, I never got back to the W Network after that. Like I kind of like I spaced on the W Network after that. But I only asked that because he didn't look, because he had that match in Japan against Neville where like, he came out and surprised everyone like back in July, on July 4th, with the Brock Lesnar like house show on the W Network, and he didn't look that good. I mean, he looked good, but he didn't look up to like Jericho standards. So I was just curious about that. But
to be perfectly honest, all I know is everybody cheered for him when he came out.
Mm-hmm.
I was hearing the match in the background, and then Bromwell or whatever, what's his name, Braun Strowman, that's it.
I hope.
I think it is Brom. I think you're right. Something Stroganoff. Brom, beef Stroganoff.
Big ass beef Stroganoff.
Chokes Jericho, and then he just passes out, and then they lose the match. And then Dean Ambrose and Reigns just like look at him like, dude, what the hell? You just lost the match for us.
Why'd you pass out from a bear hug?
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I don't know, and it kind of dawned on me. I think subconsciously I'm kind of letting go of Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose only because they're really reminding me and putting me on the same level as what I think of Randy Orton.
Oh no!
Yeah, dude.
They're kind of like going in circles. They're just like spinning their wheels right now. I feel like they should be in like Better Feud or like something bigger. But yeah, they're kind of like on the mid card right now. They're not even chasing a title. They're just kind of like
they're in what I call the Orton O-Zone.
That's a zone you don't want to be. That's funny you should mention that because what happens on Raw the next night? Who comes out and then gives them that aura? You know,
and so that's why I think subconsciously it was like, I can space out during this match. I'll read Twitter. Yeah, let's see what's going on. Oh, I'll read this thing on Facebook. Oh, God, wrestling's still on. What match is this? Oh, yeah, it's Wyatt. I like Wyatt. That's cool. Oh, man, Braun Stroganoff just choked out Jericho. Oh, man, match is over. All right.
Yeah. Moving on, yeah.
Like, I didn't even know that guy ran in. I had to watch it again. I had to watch Night of Champions again before the show as I was writing the outline and reading the rumors. I was like, no way. Or not rumors, the news. I was like, no way that did somebody freaking jump in and run in. And sure enough. They did.
That's funny, man. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, so yeah, it is weird. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns are kind of like, kind of floating in no man's land right now, which is kind of sad because they're the two of the youngest like talents with like most potential, and they should be doing something.
They'll come back
better. Yeah,
they'll come back. You know, they're just right now. Why aren't they feuding with the Dudley Boys?
That would be awesome, dude.
You see, exactly. It's a simple shift. It's a simple linear shift. Why are you having Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose fight with random space? Don't put him in the Orton zone. Don't put him in the Row zone.
The Orton Sheamus, where Sheamus always floats into that zone.
Oh God, it's such a toxic, cyclical zone, and it is so hard to get out of it. But all it takes is a simple, hey, we're done with this peanut gang gallery, whatever. Just give us Team 3D, and everybody will be happy. You know, but I understand the save the tables and New Day and all that good stuff. But, you know, beyond that.
Yeah. You know, WWE is in this weird time period between, like, when football season starts and, like, before the Royal Rumble where they kind of, like, coast. Like, where they had, like, remember when Daniel Bryan had, like, the weird Night of Champions and, like, that was that feud and, like, Big Show kind of stole his spotlight. And then, like, the year before that, they had Ryback versus CM Punk. Like, they always float in, like, these weird, like, spaces, between, like, in the fall months before Royal Rumble and, like, after SummerSlam. That's kind of like the weird, like, Twilight Zone gap for WWE, I think. I mean, it's what everyone says, I think.
Well, I think if they treat it right,
Mm-hmm.
But it's tough. It's tough because it is pre-WrestleMania. But I don't know. You could try some pretty fast, bold moves during this time. It's almost like you have to switch something up to gain enough, momentum going into Mania. So you can't go too squirrely off the chains with storylines, but you can. You have to keep the excitement alive. You have to keep people connected.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking like the next pay-per-view is like Hell in a Cell, then after that Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Then they have whatever the F's in December, and then they have Royal Rumble in January. So like they have some time to kill. So
King of the Ring with King Barrett. Barrett Barrage.
And the bad news of the barrage of the King.
I got the bad news of the barrage and the King and the jello pudding pops.
He turns into Bill Cosby. That's his next persona. Gets hit in the head. He thinks he's Bill Cosby.
Oh my gosh. In other rumors, Scott Hall has expressed an interest in working with WWE's developmental roster at the Performance Center, as long as he's taking care of himself, which he appears to be doing again. WWE is hoping to having him there as a part-time resource.
I just picture you like using all like hand quotations like when you read these rumors. I don't know. That'd be cool, man. But I just feel like he'd hit on all the young divas and be creepy. Because he's Scott Hall.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Scott, that's a plant. Whoa.
That's a plant. You're going to teach him the plant a gimmick. Get over on the mic. Cut a promo.
Oh, gosh.
You cut a promo on this plant right here.
Hey, he could be setting the stage for his son, Cody Hall.
Cody Hall, yeah. I've never seen him. I mean, he's a big dude. I've never seen him wrestle. He's young. I think he's like in his early 20s still, so I don't know.
Yeah,
he's
man.
Tall. He's like taller than his dad, I think.
So who knows, man? It could be a little segue in. We could see, but it could be cool. Scott Hall. I'm glad. Hey, remember that time you sent me the video?
Oh, so sad, dude.
For the ESPN Scott Hall, and now look where he's at.
True.
Yeah,
that's true, man. DDP yoga, man, and rehab.
Absolutely, man. There's to look back at where he once was and feeling very like a childhood hero in wrestling has become this decrepit, crumpled up, smack loving.
He's like on death's doorstep, man. Like he's like in a wheelchair.
Yeah, bad shape, dude. And now he's like, hey, like cool. He had a run in at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. He actually ran. You know what I mean? Like he actually is fit and he's able, and so he has ups and downs, but he's nowhere near where he once was. Nowhere near that. So that's good for him. So to see him at the Performance Center, I'm sure he has a lot to teach the young NXT dudes. Yeah,
no, that'd be awesome. That'd be cool. Probably good for both parties.
Booker T plans to expand his reality of wrestling promotion, buying new space in Houston and formalizing agreements with WWE and a partnership with hip-hop artist / superfan Whale.
It's Wale. I didn't say that. I was looking at the outline, just waiting for you to come to that point.
Question mark. Wale, who was backstage at Night of Champions, in part to meet with Booker.
Dude, you should start your old 1-800 hotline where you read these wrestling and people call in like they had like in the early 90s and like 80s, or Gene Okerlund would like read rumors, or JR had his own hotline number for WCW.
Maybe I should join that website Fiverr. And
what is Fiverr?
Fiverr is go to Fiverr.com and you can pay people $5 to do various tasks.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
And skills. Some people talk really fast. Some people burp your name. Some people draw a picture. I don't know, but I could do goofy voices for $5 and read whatever. I could read a recipe like that. Read it like a scandalous tabloid.
No, man, that'd be great. Invest that $5 back into the show. Get some new flyers for the ones we left at Sweet Betty's.
You know, that will be my thing. I'm just gonna read every headline as if it's a scandalous tabloid title.
Man, no. You should read the story thus far.
The story thus far. I don't even know how to do that. I already failed.
Well, you had a brief 20-second career. It was a good run. It was a good run before it ended.
The story thus far. And it's like, because it has to almost sound like a question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, is this really happening? You know, everything's a question, but like really kind of demeaning. You know,
that's why it's good. It works for rumors. I don't know if it's gonna work for like recipes or birthday invites or something. Johnny's birthday.
You're invited to Johnny's birthday? You're invited to Johnny's birthday? All right, so the story thus far. Basically, this is we're finished up a Night of Champions.
Mm-hmm.
Rollin leaves champ / champless. Cena regains gold. Mm-hmm. Owens becomes champ. New Day trombone is pure genius. Diva's Revolution has a new figurehead. Stardust defines villain. Ziggs is still feuding with Rusev, and the plot thickens as Kane returns and has amnesia?
So that was the story. It's basically the story of the last month since the SummerSlam and since our last episode. That kind of sums up where we were. And how about these predictions? What do you have for the Night of Champions predictions? Because me, you, and Theron each had a prediction.
Yes, we did. So here's what I put.
Okay.
And it's kind of out of order, but I said Ziggs would win.
Mm-hmm.
Ziggler won. I said Team 3D would win, but they lost.
Mm-hmm.
I said Owens would win, and he won. I said Wyatt would win, and he won, even though I didn't really pay attention to the match.
Yeah.
I said Charlotte would win, and she did. I said Rollins would beat Cena, but he didn't. And I said Sting would beat Rollins, but he didn't.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, that's interesting because Theron also said Sting would win the belt. And I also said Sting would win the belt, so all three of us went all in on Sting. And then Theron said Cena would win. I said Owens would win. So we've got 2 for 2 there. He said Paige double crosses Charlotte, but Charlotte still wins. So he predicted that on Friday before Night of Champions. So he predicted Charlotte win and a Paige double cross.
Oh, man.
So props for that. Who did I predict? I had Sting, Cena, I had Nikki, I had Owens, I had New Day, and I don't think I predicted any of the non-title matches. So, crazy.
New Day.
New Day rocks, dude.
I love the fact that there was some mud stomps in the corner and Xavier Woods was playing some type of scale on the trombone.
What? Who knew he had all that musical talent of the trombone, dude? That's crazy, dude.
Pure genius. Whoever said, hey man, put this trombone in your hand and just do something with it, that's pure brilliance. Pure brilliance. Pure unmitigated brilliance, dude.
Yeah, the New Day is on fire right now. There's actually a thing on the WWE Network. It's called Breakfast for 3. It's where they do it just films like 3 dudes eating breakfast. And they put it on the WWE Network, and they have a New Day episode up now. It's like 20 minutes. It's just them eating breakfast, and they're just talking about like the origins of the New Day and how they're saying like they went to WWE and said, "Hey man, this is like our last shot. If we're gonna go out, let's go out like our way. Let's go out being ourselves and see what happens instead of being like what they originally wanted the New Day to be, which was like just like heels or like the Nation Domination like reincarnated." So they pitched that to WWE. WWE said okay, and then this is where they are right now. So.
Brilliant.
No, brilliant. They're playing the trombone, dancing crazy, and
I love it, dude. That's one thing that I understand WWE tries to control. They try so hard to control authenticity because they want each of their characters to be authentic.
Yeah.
However, sometimes they don't let the actual wrestler talent be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't know, you've been wrestling your whole life, and then all of a sudden someone says, hey man, you're putting on this green jacket and goofy hat and you're now Booger Eater Supreme. What am I doing? You know, but it's like they have this like idea and they try to force someone to own a character when really it's like you gotta let the talent own who they think that character is.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost like with acting, man. Sometimes you let like a smart comedian, like if he just says something on the fly, improvs it, you know, it's not on the script, just like keep it in the movie kind of thing, you know? Like all these wrestlers, like if you get to the WWE, you have to have some sort of talent or something inside of you to get that far, to get to like the NFL of pro wrestling. So there's got to be something there. So I think sometimes they try to keep everyone in like the square peg into the round hole kind of thing, where they should be letting everyone just kind of like, I don't know, do a little more off the cuff things. Instead of keeping everyone like in a straight line, when everyone kind of wants to make a left turn here, right turn there, U-turn there, they're trying to keep everyone on like a straight, rigid path sometimes. I think that kind of hurts them, kind of shoots them in the foot sometimes.
Yeah, if you're going to make someone be Booger Eater Supreme, you know, at least give them some autonomy. You know, give them something to work with.
You know what? This has nothing to do with anyone, but just guys gotten bad gimmicks the last maybe year or so. Damian Sandow, I guess there's like rumors that he's going back to his old gimmick of like the robe and the pink tights.
Yeah, he's got to do something else.
But I think they're trying to make it like as a face, though. They're trying to make him pull that off as a face. But I think that was his best gimmick, though, dude. I thought he was getting over. I don't know, until he tried to cash in the Money in the Bank and failed on Cena. But so I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's a guy who's gotten a lot of different gimmicks thrown at him. So
he needs to be Booger Eater Supreme.
He's gotten some Booger Eater Supreme, dude.
Oh, ridiculous. All right, let's get to this question of the day real quick before our show ends. All I want to say is Raw recap is Kane has amnesia, PCB broke up, Randy Orton ... Bo Dallas and Ryback, so Ryback has fallen completely away from the Intercontinental Planetary Galaxy System phylum family, whatever you want to freaking call it. He is whatever. Sheamus versus Mark Henry. I forgot those guys were even wrestling. New Day and Rusev, Dudley Boys, Dolph Ziggler. Pretty cool. Dolph Ziggler's with Dudley Boys. Never thought that would ever be a pair, but that's cool. Natalya, Naomi, whatever. John Cena, Seth Rollins, just saw it. To quote Gino from Cage Side Seats, this is a direct quote, and I quote, "This was a typical, largely forgettable Raw."
Hence our Raw recap.
It's our Raw recap.
But the Kane amnesia thing, I don't know if they're trying to do like a Kane, like Joseph Parks, like Abyss kind of thing. That's what I was talking with Darren actually on text about that. I don't know, dude. It seems like they're going down that path, man. And then they're stealing ideas for TNA.
Oh my God, WWE stealing a main storyline from TNA. Aces and Eights is taking over. I'm calling it now. Oh God, what's his name?
Is Biker Taker the leader of the Ace and Ace?
No, freaking NWO, WCW, Eric Bischoff.
Yeah.
Isn't he doing like a podcast or something with someone?
Think so, yeah. Oh, he's doing a podcast of JBL.
Aces and Eights is taking over as Eric Bischoff spearheads Aces and you got Bubba Ray.
You got Diva.
You got Diva, dude. Testify. Aces and Eights is coming back, dude.
You got Sting to start the main event Mafia or whatever.
Oh my God! It's a TNA takeover.
It's a very, 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 very slow takeover.
It's pure Genius.
Oh god. Oh man.
So let's answer this question of the day here. The question of the day was, who has to beat, or who is going to beat John Cena for the U.S. title, Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental title, and Seth Rollins for the WWE title?
Do you want to go first, or you just want to go like ping pong it back? Like,
Let's ping pong it, man. Who do you think is going to beat Cena?
for the U.S. title? Jeez, I don't even know the roster. I'll go with Roman Reigns. I don't know when, but he'll beat Cena for the U.S. title sometime down there, because Roman Reigns got to win a belt eventually.
All right.
Who do you think is going to win the U.S. title off Cena?
Dean Ambrose.
Okay, there you go.
He's already won it once.
They're true. Okay. So Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental title. Who do you think is going to win that?
Oh, man. This is not a title to mess with, dude. This is now in dangerous hands. This is now in the hands of a madman, dude. So, who is going to beat Kevin Owens?
Oh, I just got an idea.
Maybe Sami Zayn?
Oh, that'd be great if he ever gets not injured.
Sick.
That's a good one. I was going to say Bray Wyatt, and Kevin Owens turns face during this feud.
Oh,
that'd be a fun feud.
That would be a fun feud, because it's like Wyatt just wants to, be creepy and give you nightmares, but Kevin Owens is just like, I don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Wyatt screws with Owens in the sense that, hey Owens, you're such a prize fighter. Why don't you fight for your soul or something, or why don't you fight for something more prestigious than the title? I don't know. Something to F with his head is Wyatt tends to always do.
Man, the crowd's already behind Owens, so if they ever want to turn him face, they could do it. And Wyatt's never won a title before either. He's like Reigns. He's been like in main events, but he hasn't won a title yet.
God, man, how does Owens make those guys feel then?
Right? Yeah, that's true, right?
Wow.
Okay, so Seth Rollins for WWE title. Who's gonna knock off Seth finally? He's had it since WrestleMania, man. That cash in.
Eventually Sheamus is gonna have it, just because, duh. But he's not gonna be the one to, like, I guess. I don't know.
He could fail on the cash in, dude. I mean, Sandow did. Cena failed on the cash in.
Yeah, that's true.
With CM Punk, he announced it like the week before Raw 1000.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Who is going to beat Seth Rollins?
I mean, is it going to be at WrestleMania? Is it going to be before WrestleMania? Is it going to be at Royal Rumble? When is he going to even lose the title?
What would be exciting is if he did lose it before WrestleMania, and then your main event is a guy that just freshly has the title and then could potentially lose it.
True.
So it's kind of like you're kind of guaranteed a very suspenseful match, because it's like one guy could walk away with it new, like, oh, I've only had it for a month, man, I lost, damn it. Or it's like, oh, I have the title, like, oh, I gotta defend it, oh my god, I defended my first title defense at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool, yeah.
So that's like another way to look at it, because if not, are you gonna run the same storyline over and over of you have to have the title for 200 days before losing the title? Because I'm fearing that that's gonna be the case ever since CM Punk haven't had it for like 300 days, and then Brock Lesnar had it for God knows how long, and now Roman Reigns has it for. So it's kind of nice to see that title shift hands, if it can, pretty quick, because that shakes things up, because then it's like you have a main event dude, the heavyweight title holder, but then you've also got a new guy that comes in, but then he loses it to somebody else, so you have like this 3-hand exchange real quick.
So who you picking?
God, man, I don't know. I'd immediately want to say Brock Lesnar, but it can't be Brock Lesnar. Gosh, man, it's probably going to be Roman Reigns.
that was the pick I was leaning. I mean, because that's like tells the story from last year, like where he got pinned at WrestleMania. So like, it could complete that story, but I don't know how they're gonna work that, and if Rollins can even hold the title for that long to like complete that story.
It would come full circle. Or if Ambrose won it, because Ambrose has beaten him.
True, and he's still, like from the breakup the Shield, there's still like that storyline to get some kind of closure.
God, there has to be some resolve with that.
Yeah, because Roman Reigns or Dean Ambrose, they haven't really. Seth Rollins he's still winning that like battle with the Shield members right now because he's had the title for so long. He's the first one to win the title from those three guys. The other guy I was thinking was Daniel Bryan, if he ever comes back. Just I don't know how. I don't know. He's so injured, so I don't know if that's ever easy even going to come back to wrestling. But
I don't know.
That's another guy. If he beats Seth Rollins for the title, I think everyone can get behind that, or everyone would explode over that.
I would love it, but I don't see it happening.
I know. That's one of those one in lottery ticket, 1 in 1 million chances of it happening.
Well, cage side fans, if you're listening to the Bros Before Elbows show on CagesideSeats.com. Hey, Bros Before Elbows fans, what do you think of the question of the day? We would like to hear responses from you on our Twitter, on our Facebook page, and leave comments on our website. Share it. And hey, anybody who picked this flyer up from Sweet Betty's, we'd like to hear from you too.
Mm-hmm.
You tell us what you think about the question of the day and the show. Because again, this show is brought to you by...
Scrolling over.
The music started playing and I was like, wait a second! There's so much happening right now.
You're cutting off your...
This episode of the Bros Before Elbows is sponsored by you, the Bros Before Elbows community. So the best way to support the show is to share the show. So, seriously, take a second. Share this episode of the Bros Before Elbows show on your favorite social media outlet. Drop an elbow on your friends. Share the show on Twitter. Share the show on Facebook. Like us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out at www.brosbefore4elbows.com.
That is up there. Has all the latest stuff on there. Another good thing to do is give us a review on iTunes. Would be really cool. I got a couple of those, and if you get a chance, get a quick review, give us some stars. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be great. Yes, please give us your stars. Give us them.
You sound like Stardust. And then, we'll post the question of the day on our Facebook and our Twitter a couple of times and see how get some traction, because that was a really good question. So I want to see if we get some answers for that.
Yeah, let's say yeah.
Oh, those are good ideas.
All the things. Do them.
All the things.
All right, cool, great show. Thanks for listening to the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Podcast Show.
Hit elbow drop your friends, people.
The Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Show is an AC